Hello, I'm Andrew Bailey, Curator of Collections at the Pima Aerospace Museum. Today we're going to take a virtual tour of one of the more unique displays we have here at the museum. Claustrophobia, a salt flat racer made from a 100-gallon aircraft drop tank. But first, let's start with some background. Bonneville Speedway is a track that is laid out each year at the Bonneville Salt Flats near Wendover, Utah. Currently at over 30,000 acres, the large flat surface allows cars to get up to their top speeds. The flats were first used for automobile racing in 1912 and became popular during the 1930s when it was used for several land speed records. The largest annual event is Bonneville Speed Week, hosted by the Southern California Timing Association. Since 1948, entrants descend on the flats from all over the world with vehicles of all shapes, sizes, and types. Other large meets include the World of Speed put on by the Utah Salt Flats Racing Association and the BUB Motorcycle Speed Trials. There are often smaller meets where cars and drivers set out to run world record attempts. World War II helped expand the hot rod movement in the United States by exposing many young men to high-performance vehicles and equipment. One of these young men was hot rodder Bill Burke. While serving on a PT boat in the South Pacific, he saw aircraft drop tanks being unloaded at Guadalcanal. He was impressed with their aerodynamic shape and knew a Ford engine would fit in one. Shortly after the war, Burke worked with SoCal Speed Shop and experimented using drop tanks as race cars. For his design Sweet 16, he used a 315-gallon tank used by Lockheed P-38 Lightnings. It raced in 1948 and 1949, reaching a top speed of 164.83 miles per hour. There became a demand for Burke's fast and expensive cars, named Lakesters. In 1951, one of these Lakesters, owned and modified by Burke's boss Alex Zaitis, reached a top speed of 198.34 miles per hour, faster than the winning car at that year's Indy 500. There have also been several race cars designed from drop tanks that differ from the basic Lakester design. This includes Alan Richards' Claustrophobia Class 1 Streamliner on display here at the museum. Richards also designed another Streamliner made from two 260-gallon tip tanks from a Lockheed T-33 Shooting Star for owner Fritz Offutt. Offutt raced the Class D Streamliner to 194.80 miles per hour at the 1965 speed trials. Claustrophobia is a Class 1 Streamliner racer designed by Alan A. Richards of Carlsbad, California. Starting in 1959, he designed and built Claustrophobia out of a 100-gallon aircraft drop tank powered by a one-cylinder, two-cycle Pirelli 3-horsepower motorcycle engine. Richards modified the engine to run on alcohol and designed a tuned exhaust system which increased the output to 7 horsepower. The dimensions of the aptly named Claustrophobia are a width of 2 feet, a height of 1 foot 10.5 inches, and a length of 6 feet 2 inches, which also includes the exhaust system. After 4 years of building the vehicle, it was approved for an experimental racing class. Richards and his crew took Claustrophobia to the 1963 National Speed Trials at the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah. The driver, Warren Roll, drove the car crouched on his knees and his head forward and toes pointed to the rear. The car got up to near 70 miles per hour on several runs. Unfortunately, the engine overheated each time and the car slowed to 56 miles per hour at the 2-mile mark where the timing traps were set. Richards made several modifications to Claustrophobia, including a liquid cooling jacket to cool the engine. The modified car raced with driver Gary Tobler at the 1966, 1968, and 1969 speed trials. In 1968, the car did not place a speed, but in 1969, it clocked 62.84 miles per hour, never quite reaching Richards' 100-mile-per-hour goal. I hope you enjoyed this brief tour of our exhibit here at the Pima Aerospace Museum.